Right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I am the brother Kalam for the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you another lesson to edify those of which I spoke of. So I'm going to play this clip here, right? It's going to be a long one. It's about 8 minutes long, but I'm going to play it because this gives you an insight into the mind of your average Edomite, right? Or should I say your average Shedamite, right? Because this devil on the screen here is going to let you know how these so-called white people really feel about you, Jake, because there's no such thing as white people. That's a construct. You know, that's a construct. It's not, white is not a nationality. Black is not a nationality. Those are constructs by the enemy Esau, which have been put in place to hide the name of Israel from remembrance, because we really, as so-called, blacks, Latinos, so-called Negroes, blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans, we are actually the Israelites of the Bible. We are the descendants of our forefather Israel, who was the son of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham, right? We're the Israelites. And these people here that you can see on the screen, this is one of them. These are the Edomites, who are the descendants of Esau, who was the son of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham. So we're both Shemitic peoples. We both descend from the line of Shem, but we're two different lines, right? So these are the Edomites. There's no such thing as white people. They're the red Hebrew Edomites, and we are the Israelites, the descendants of Israel, right? And there's been an enmity between our nations, which will continue until the end of this current age, when our Lord and Savior Yahushua returns to put things in the right order, because really the earth was made for our sakes. But what's happened is the Most High has given the earth into the hands of the wicked, which are these Edomites, and they're currently ruling the world right now, which is why the world is steeped in wickedness. Now, I'm going to be quiet for a minute, right, because I want this to play out. And I want you to hear what this Edomite's got to say, because this really reflects. This is the, a lot of Edomites, they don't say the quiet part out loud when they're around you, but this is how they really think and feel. So let me play this, and then I'll bring out some precepts.
So a little bit off topic for me, but I think
before I start, by the way, let me just peep you on the title of this video. I was almost attacked by a black man who didn't speak English today. Right? It says 2.4k likes, 19,953 views, and it's published on the 24th of October 2025. It said, let's read some of this. Carolyn Borisienko is a psychologist turned journalist, exposing the radical left through deep dives, undercover investigations, and unapologetic truth-telling. So this woman is a so-called psychologist, right? Let's see what this damn devil's got to say, because a lot of you psychologists are full of shit anyway. With your PhDs acting like you're smart when you don't know fuck all. Let's read this. Let's play this.
I think that this is an important topic to talk about and discuss, because this has now happened to me twice, what I'm about to describe, and I'm afraid that it's going to keep happening again. So I want to tell you about what happened this morning. Now, you guys know I went undercover at the Seattle Anarchist Book Fair earlier today, but before that, I got up and I was getting ready, and I left my Airbnb that I'm staying at, and it's actually a reasonably nice neighborhood in Seattle. And I just went to get a coffee, and I went to go to the pharmacy to run an errand. And I came back to my Airbnb, and I opened the outside door, and I didn't even think about it, but someone followed me in, because I just kind of figured, someone else is, leaving the building. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, you open the door, and then you go in, and then someone follows you, and you don't really think about it. Well, the man who followed me in was a black man who didn't speak any English. And I didn't really think much about it, because we're not supposed to think anything about it, right? So I start walking to my Airbnb like, you know, the apartment that I'm staying in. And again, and he's following behind me. And I'm kind of like, at this point, I'm kind of like, why is this guy following me? And so I go down the stairs, I go around a corner, I go around another corner, I stop in front of my apartment, and I go to put the key in the door. The guy comes up behind me, is standing right behind me, and he's waiting for me to unlock the door. And I started to, because I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna walk past me. No, he didn't. He was standing right there. And so I turned around and I said to him, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like looking. He's like, "Oh, we're going in." I was like, "No, we're fucking not going in." And it was just like it ensued like an interaction. Again, this is a black guy that didn't speak any English. He just followed me into the Airbnb, followed me down to my apartment, was waiting for me to unlock the door without looking that he was behind me, so that he could go in with me. The only reason that he didn't end up pushing me, I think, into the apartment is that before I started unlocking the lock, I turned around and I said, "What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck away from me." And he just kept kind of looking at me, and he kept moving up towards me, and then I kept yelling and yelling until he told me to get the fuck away. And I started yelling at the top of my lungs because, of course, I'm very loud when I yell, as many of you know. And I think that when I started yelling at the top of my lungs, he got afraid and he ran away. This is not the first time I've been kind of like accosted by a black person when I've been traveling. It happened a year ago in Detroit, where I was staying at this really nice hotel, and I decided to go for a walk 1 block up the street from my really nice hotel because I was looking for a store because I had to run an errand. And so I leave my hotel and I start walking in Detroit, and that was one of the dumbest fucking decisions I ever made, because within a block of my really nice hotel in Detroit, there were all these black people that were obviously drug addicts on the sidewalk, and there was one in particular where I was walking down the street, and I went up like a block out of my hotel. I was like, "Oh, no. And I started like turning around to go back, basically. And I was walking back. Again, I'm 1 block away from my really nice hotel in Detroit. I start going down the sidewalk, and there's a black dude standing there, and he's obviously on drugs. And then he just got down and started doing push-ups in the middle of the fucking sidewalk, and there's like no one around but me and this guy. And so I crossed over to the other side of the street because I didn't want to go right by him because, you know, I'm not fucking stupid. And then I went into a store on the corner where I was accosted by another fucking black guy that tried to like push me again up against a wall until I ran out. I got away and I ran out. Now, listen, I want to be really clear about this. I am not saying that all black people are like this. That's not what I'm saying at all. I know many black people who would never do anything like this. And on the flip side, I know that there are white men that have done really bad things to me that I'm not going to talk about right now. So I'm not suggesting.
Yeah, but why isn't she going to talk about that right now? See, she could say all these different accounts of so-called black men that she's had trouble with, but she won't say anything about her own people that have troubled her. Let me let this play out, then I'll bring some precepts.
Adjusting that I think, because this is how this is going to be twisted, right? They're going to say, you know, "Oh, she's saying this is all black people." No, I'm not. But what I am saying is that I really believe that the only reason that something very bad didn't happen to me today is because I was afraid. And,
we're implementing AI. Great, another AI tool. Well,
Right. So here we've got it. Here we've got the fake tears, the fake crying, because she was such a victim, and she's so scared. And anytime she left her really nice hotel, there was a black man in the street that scared her. Fuck the shit, man.
And I don't want to be afraid in situations like this, but the only reason that something bad didn't happen is because I was afraid, and because I didn't start unlocking my door when he was standing behind me when he wanted me to. And because I did turn around and start just screaming and yelling because I knew that it wasn't good. And I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of having to be put in these situations where all I'm doing is I'm going to a city. I'm trying to stay in good parts of the city. I'm trying to stay.
Now, what did the scripture say about Esau? I'm going to get these precepts all at the end, but let me just quickly bring two out now. The scriptures talk about Esau being a proud man that neither keepeth at home, and also give not a woman liberty to gad abroad. I'll get all these precepts. Let me let this play out first.
Good places, and I'm afraid that if I leave by myself to go for a simple walk a block up the street, I'm gonna end up getting accosted by someone who, quite frankly, doesn't speak fucking English and shouldn't fucking be in America. I'm not saying that this is true of everyone of a certain skin color. That is not the argument I'm making. The argument I'm making is that it is part of our survival mechanism to be afraid, and it sucks. But I really think the only reason something very bad didn't happen to me today is because I was afraid. And I think that our society has tried to train us to not be afraid of people who, you know, are immigrants, don't speak English, obviously shouldn't fucking be here, add no value to our society at all, in any way. Our society trains us, especially as women, to not be afraid of people like that. But it's the people like that that always end up hurting us. And it's the people like that that put us in the position to begin with, where we have to battle with this like thing that our intuition is telling us, be afraid, something's bad about to happen. And then society trains us to try to overwrite that to be what's quote unquote a good person. I will never judge people by their skin color entirely. I never will. I know far too many black people that are very smart and would never do anything like that. I know far too many white people who are white trash and would absolutely do something stupid like that. So I am not making the argument that this is a skin color thing, but I am making the argument that if you're afraid in a situation like that, don't talk yourself out of it. Don't talk yourself out of it, because
Here we go.
there's a reason you're afraid. And I don't know, I was sitting here and I was like, Carlin, do you even make this video? Because people are going to say you're being racist. And I was sitting here going, well, isn't that the problem? Isn't that the problem? Isn't that the problem that I literally can't talk about the fact that I literally was almost accosted, pushed into my Airbnb by a black man who didn't speak fucking English, who came up behind me and was waiting for me to unlock the door so that he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. Why can't I talk about that? That happened to me this morning. Why should I feel like I can't talk about that? So I'm making this video because maybe some people need to hear this. I know there was a time I did. I know there was a time when I needed to be told, Carlin, it's okay to be afraid, and it's okay to allow your survival mechanism to kick in because it's there for a reason. And I think that oftentimes when people find themselves in situations, it's because they're overriding their own survival mechanism. So don't do that shit. If you're afraid, you need to do something about it, and you need to not tell yourself that you shouldn't be afraid just because society tells you not to be afraid. Sometimes there are reasons to be afraid, and it's your body trying to tell you, you are in danger. Danger, danger, get the fuck out.
This year, the true story of a broadband customer who wrestled with destiny triumphed.
Right, so is that the end of the video? Right. Yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. Slack you for that. So yeah, let's pick apart parts of what this Sheenamite was saying, right? So she kept saying she was almost attacked by a black person who didn't speak any fucking English, right? She said that about 4 or 5 times. And then she also goes on to say that he shouldn't be here and adds no value to our society. Well, look, you were the ones who have stolen that land of America. That land was given to the Northern Kingdom. And you guys went over, you raped, you stole, you pillaged, you murdered to conquer and take that land. Now, you got the audacity to tell Jake that you shouldn't even be there? Some madness, man. Let me get some precepts on what she's saying. And then I'll get into some of these comments as well, because it's not just her, right? Because these Edomites, right, they don't want you Jake around. They tolerate you, but they never want you in their areas. They only tolerate you because in this current climate, the Edomite man is trying to present himself as, you know, the distinguished white gentleman who's, you know, the champion of all the people. But really, he's never been that. He's always had a hatred for these other nations, primarily for you Israelites, right? But he hides his hatred under smooth words, you know, and a fake act, as if he's for all the people, when really he always imagines how to undermine you and eliminate you, Jakes. And it's the same for their women as well, right? This is an example of how much these Edomites don't want you, Jake, around. In Numbers 20, starting from verse 1. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people chose with. Actually, let me see if I can jump down to the point. Right, let's go down to verse 12. Numbers 20 verse 12. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed not me, not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I give them. So that's when Moses went off and was forbidden to enter into the promised land. It says, this is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord Yahweh, and he was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom, right? King of Edom, peep this. Thus saith thy brother Israel, because we are closely related to those Edomites. They were Jacob's biological brother, right? Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that have befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel, and have brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the utmost of thy border. Now think about this, right? If you had a relative whose descendants went into hardcore slavery for, I believe it was around 400 years under the Egyptians, right? And then they were delivered and set free by their Lord. If you were any kind of compassionate brother, wouldn't you be rejoicing about the fact that your brother's descendants have been liberated and delivered from their evil oppressor? Wouldn't you be rejoicing at that and happy to see them? But no, Esau wasn't happy at all. Check this. Verse 17, let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink any of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. Now this sums up Esau's characteristics perfectly, because his blessing was the sword, and so he's always quick to use it. And he was quick to use it in Genesis 4 in his pre-incarnation when he was forgive me, what am I saying? When he was Cain. When he was Cain and he slew his brother Abel, who, if you can peek this through the spirit, if you can receive it through the spirit, Abel was Jacob in the reincarnation, and Cain was Esau in the reincarnation. So this enmity has always been between these two spirits from the very jump, from the very beginning, right? And it still plays out on earth unto this day, right? Numbers 20 verse 18. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink any of thy water, I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, but this goes into another point. But that's the point I wanted to make. Esau was so cruel and wicked that he wouldn't even let us pass by to go through the land. He made life difficult for us even back then. And that spirit on these Edomites is still on them unto this day, right? And there's some other precepts I quoted. Come on, man. This is Habakkuk 2 verse 5. Actually, this is Habakkuk 2 verses 4 and 5. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. See, these Edomites, they're not upright people. You know, they're very wicked, they're very manipulative, they're very conniving, they're very corrupt and crooked people, right? So his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, meaning that he uses a lot of false philosophies. He is a proud man, right, and neither keepeth at home. These are the characteristics of the Edomites. They're very proud and neither keepeth at home. They don't stay in their own land. Their land is Mount Seir. No, they're running around in everybody else's lands, including that landmass of America, acting like they own the place and telling anybody else that they don't belong there. When they're the real illegal aliens. They're the real ones who shouldn't even be in that land, right? Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right, so that's another characteristic of Esau, how to spot these damn devils, other than their, lack of melanin, which is the mark of biblical leprosy that's put on them by the Lord. There's another precept I want to get here. Bear with me while I find this. Yeah, this is Sirach 25 and 25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather abroad. So these women shouldn't even be walking around in flipping Airbnbs, going to different cities and staying in I was in a really nice hotel, but there was a black man doing press-ups in the street that intimidated me. And, I was in a really nice hotel, but as soon as I left my hotel, there was a group of black men. I was staying in a really nice area, in a really nice hotel, but there was a black man. You see, that's what these Edomites are like, man. Oh, I'm in a really nice place. Oh, there's a black man, so I feel intimidated. I feel threatened, so we need to eliminate these people. When them guys might not even had any they might not even have even noticed you. They might have just been doing their own thing, but you feel threatened just because you see a black man in the dark. So therefore, you have to go on the internet talking your shit, right? Trying to paint us as the enemy. Well, truth is, we are your enemies. We are your enemies because that enmity has been between Jacob and Esau from the womb. Let's get that. But these Edomites ain't right, man. Genesis 25:19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh, meaning that she went to see a prophet. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her through the mouth of a prophet, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Right? And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, meaning that the reason why he was red all over, he wasn't hairy, but he was like a red hairy garment, because back in those days, one of our customs is that we used to have hairy garments that were dyed red. So Esau's complexion was red. And why was his complexion red? Because his blood showed forth through his skin. So he was born without melanin. Now, every other person around that time that was born, they were all born melanated. So Esau had that mark put on him in Genesis, the 4th chapter. That was the mark that the Most High set on Esau so that anybody that saw him wouldn't slay him because they know, okay, that's the man that the Most High is marked. Right? Let's keep reading. Verse 26, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bare him, meaning that he was 60. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah did love Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field and was faint. And Esau said, and also when it says Esau was a man of the field, meaning that he was always traveling, he was always going up in other people's lands. He wouldn't dwell at home. But of Jacob, it says he was a plain man dwelling in tents. So Jacob Jacob stayed in his lane essentially, but Esau was always up in the world, going around other people's lands hunting, right? Because that's his nature, right? And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came in from the field and was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Now the name Edom actually means red. And that's another characteristic of these Edomites. They like to consume meat that isn't cooked properly. Like they like their steaks rare with the blood still in it. And that's a sign of an Edomite, right? Because the Most High said in Genesis the 9th chapter, you are forbidden to eat blood. You're forbidden to eat meat with the blood in it because the blood is the life. So, when Jake prepares his meals, let's say they slaughter a chicken to cook it, they make sure all the blood is drained out first. And when they cook it thoroughly to where there's no blood still in the chicken or the beef or whatever it is you're cooking. You make sure that there's no blood in it because we are not supposed to consume blood. But Esau is contrary to the laws and ways of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So therefore he always does the opposite. So that's how you can see these Edomites, right? So verse 31, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him and sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So that's the characteristic of these Edomites for you, right? Now I want to get into some of these comments because you're going to see more Edomites showing how they really feel about you, Jake. Because you, Jake, need to take your head out the fucking sand, man. Take your head out the sand and start, want to necessarily wake up and smell the coffee and see the enemy that's right in front of you. These Edomites, right? Right, so it says, read one of these comments. I'm sorry that happened to you. No, that's not what I want to read. Sweetheart, allow me to give you a few words of wisdom. Stop worrying about other people thinking that you might be racist. The plain and simple truth is, either you're a racist or you're fucking dead. It's that simple. Good luck in overcoming your fear of being labelled a racist by others. See, again, I told you, this is how you so-called white people, you Edomites, really feel. Welcome to the real world where racism is defined as expectations gathered by consistent and obvious experiences. Glad you're okay. I'm sorry to this happened to you. Please know back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have to worry about this situation, but our dear leaders have invited and paved the way for these encounters by us opening our borders and letting the third world in. Oh boy. Maybe you should stop saying in nice places like Detroit and Seattle. Anyone who knows the facts laughed both times when you said that there are no nice places in those areas. Seems like you would have learned that the first time, but evidently you didn't. Still get it even after it's happened twice. So you got attacked by an immigrant, correct? Bad people come in all colors. The facts that you say black man, and black men so many times, it just provokes something in people who are racist. Just look at the comments. I'm sorry this happened to you, but girl, just use your common sense. Michael J says he wished he didn't have to live around us. I am not a threat to anyone, regardless of race. It's probably just a bigot anyway. White people commit a lot of crime in this country. Most serials and mass killers are all white, but I don't judge all white people because of their actions. Racist people will find excuses to be racist. See, that's probably written by Jake who's still seeking love from these people. They don't love you. They just tolerate you only when they have to, but they don't want you around. Look at this. No provocation needed, son. Consistent examples of real world experience turn your argument into sheep shit yesterday drivel. See, yeah, these Edomites, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to be your friend, you know? I live in a town that's 98% white, 0% black. It's quiet and safe here. Hey man, when those spidey senses are tingling, stay away. I have seen countless videos online of these animals attacking, harassing us in the most grotesque or merciless ways because we're white. See, white girls bleed a lot. Oh my gosh, right. And you know what? A lot of these Edomites, they live on the dark net, and they go to a lot of these gore sites. Excuse me. They go and they lurk on these gore sites where they show videos of traffic accidents or people are sometimes being unalived and stuff. A lot of Edomites love that shit, right? And they lurk on those sites. And if you see the types of comments that they post there, it's similar to what you're seeing them come out the woodwork and saying on here, because now they feel that it's okay for them to say it because this woman is giving them a justification by the nature of this video to say it. But on those dark websites where those Edomites lurk, they let how they feel out without any restraint, and you get to really see the true nature of the white man, the true nature of the so-called white man who is really the Edomite, and that nature hasn't changed. When you look back at books like Without Sanctuary, where you see them lynching Jake, right? And, sending postcards to each other and even sending souvenirs of body parts to each other and all kinds of mad shit that they would do. Yeah, you think that was in like the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s and they've changed. No, they have not changed. The only thing that's changed is the disguise and the narrative that's pushed by mainstream media. But the real Edomite, he hasn't changed at all. He hasn't changed since Genesis, and he's not going to change until Yahushua comes and puts him in chains, and we get them in slavery in the kingdom of heaven. Let me just read a few more of these. I'm old now, so basically invisible, but I fear for my daughter. Young women in general, even kids, is despicable. These imports are backwards and dangerous, no matter what color. Now you can tell how now you can tell what white South Africans feel like in all day, every day. You cannot be complacent. Take it from a white South African. You don't detest them enough. I never let them get behind me anymore. Let's be real here. Racism is self-preservation. You know what? So you know that anti-white commercial where the black mum is giving the talk to the kid who would be multiplies more until she'd be shot by another black in the future. Whites are their ones who need to have their talk with their kids. Wasn't that a mad comment with bad grammar? We all need to stand up and speak out. This uncivilized crap has been going unspoken for far too long. Let me just read one more comment here. When you see blacks be on full alert, they are not like us. Scream at them like a bear attack. Alright, so let's get this right. Second Ezra's. It's not. Hang on, bear with me a second. Second Ezra 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or what shall be the end of it? Read this again. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is between the heel and the hand. Other questions Ezra asks thou not. So what shall be the parting asunder of this time and the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Well, guess what? When Esau goes down, Jacob's going to rise up. And that's why these Edomites are psychologically afraid when they see Jake multiplying. Because when they see Jake multiplying, they know that it spells their downfall. So that's why they hate seeing so-called black people in their so-called areas. Because they psychologically know deep down that represents their downfall. So that's why they'd rather eliminate you, Jakes, and see you 6 feet under than see you inhabiting the same town or city as them, because they don't want to be around you. But Esau's so damn wicked that he won't even stay in his own land. He'll go to other people's land and then complain that other people are there. You know, that's the nature of Esau, man. He can't. There's no getting along with him. There's no befriending him. There's no fair treatment from him. He's a truce breaker and a liar, and never trust him. Let's read this and I'll close out on this. I mean, there's a million and one ways we could approach this topic from and get precepts on, because the whole Bible basically condemns this man, these Edomites, right? But let me just read this to close out. Sirach 12, starting at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And Esau is proven to be our enemy, pertaining to Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Let me just quickly read that for context. This is Psalms 83 for verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Most High. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom. Now I'm just going to stop there because I just want to focus on Edom, but it goes into all these other nations that have had a part in our downfall and have acted as enemies unto the nation of Israel. But chief amongst them is the nation of Edom, right? So let's finish reading this. Sirach 12 and 10. Forgive me. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not altogether been wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth down to a sinner, and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes. You saw that Edomite doing that on the video, pretending to cry because she was so scared, right? He will weep with his eyes, but if he findeth opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So in these last days, what we're seeing is the masks beginning to fall. That false illusion of the Edomite being reformed and now being, a champion of the people and a man for everyone, that's being shown up to be not true, because these Edomites are starting to let their arse show again and show how much they hate you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans. That hatred will never go away until Esau's put out of his misery, which is going to be 1,000 years, into the kingdom of heaven. Esau's always going to have that hatred for Jake as long as he's on the earth, except when Yahushua comes back and puts Esau into slavery, he's no longer going to be able to act out his hatred. So with that, I want to close it there. As I said, there's a million and one ways we can approach this topic from, and there's a plethora of scriptures that I didn't bring out, but Lord willing, this has made the point. And keep your head on the swivel, as they say, man, and always be circumspect when moving around these Edomites, because although they are masters of the fake smile, they're really imagining how to throw you into a pit and undermine you. They'll never be your friends. Take it from me. So with that, once again, going to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.